Racing!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Sector 1. Tonight we are round 4 of the Auto 1 TCT Championship at Lake Maggiore, East Course. It's going to be one hell of a race. Joining me in the box tonight we have Just the Atom. How are you?
G'day mate, I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I think winter's gone and up in Queensland, so starting to get the old sweat box back. The other bloke we got joining us in the chat tonight is Jim Bob. How are you?
Good mate, how are you?
Not too bad. So are you going to be joining us in the chat, Jim, as your RDing, or is there an RD for your room? I don't remember that one.
No, that's me, mate. We're gonna have an interesting perspective for the co-coms tonight.
So you can get it first hand. Who's up and down, who's down. Anyway,
Right.
we'll
see how it goes.
We'll see what the times are bringing on track shortly when we go to qualifying. But we'll talk to you shortly, Adam, and we'll be over in Group A.
Cool man, I'll see you when you get here.
No worries. So, what are we looking at, Jim? We're looking about the 123 mark around a lap time around Maggiore.
Yeah, there's a lot of early to mid 23s rolling around track at the moment. There was talk of 22s, but thankfully, for me in particular, that hasn't happened. So Shives has been red hot tonight. He's been I think he did a 23 flat at one stage. So practice today. But Devrim will be up there. Stranger will be up there in the Big Viper as well, and MVF Chris will be up there for Aussie Hampton and the NSXs too.
Well, it sounds like there's a few people getting around from what I've seen in a few laps that I did just before we went to go live. There's not too many that are far off the pace, so it's going to be an interesting race.
Yeah.
So, in the chat, we got Karen. How are you, Karen? Captain Muffin's joining us. King Oscar's in there. We are almost ready to go qualifying. So, when you are ready, Jim, let's hit the button.
Alright, cool. We'll just double check to see that everyone's actually ready to go, which they are.
Let us know if we got any in chat, if we got any sound issues or anything. Because it seems like it's all working at the moment because we can't actually hear ourselves. Jim Bob started the qualifier. We'll jump out. Okay. Oh, let's see who's got what it takes to put it on pole. 10 minutes around here, so it's going to go pretty quick. I can see Revolution's out first. Looks like this one's sitting in the pit, so we're not going to hang around with that one. We might be. What's going on now? Oh, you know what's happened. I was in that.
What's happened?
Sorry. I was part of that race.
Oh, that's not a good start.
Alright, so we have up in the front, EBM Mitch out the front. No, he's one of the last. We'll start with him. He's in the Deeds entry for Deeds Racing. EBM Mitch. We have Magnet in the Autobahn Alpha for Lucky's Lawn Care. Followed by Flatstick, who is in the Bez Media Ferrari for a Cornerstone. Jim Bob yourself running in the NSX in the Merlin entry for CJ Esports. Carbon Boy. He's been showing his pace lately. He's in the Tamar Cars McLaren for Obsession Motorsports. Hopefully he can put on a bit of a show tonight. Got the matching helmet in there by the look of it. The Stranger in the Viper. So he's Team 53. Complete Angler. Big V10. Shizer. I've seen Shizer in a few of the practice runs tonight. He has got that Jaguar on fire. So the FGT light from Counterpunch. Watch this base. Yeah, I was in there, I forgot. I had a few practice laps before we went out. Kazi won. Green Beacon Ferrari for Red Mist Racing. The Moth. First of the NSX Aussie Hampton Hondas. Putting in some good lap times as well, the Moth lately. Excalibur in the Hyundai Revolution race gear for Death Grip Racing. Ninth, we got the Brev in the Chill Out Systems Alpha for racing cars like Legends. VF rounds out the top 10. Second of the Aussie cars, so we got our first times. Jim Bob comes in with a 123.9, gets beaten by Shizer with a 122.9.
Oh God!
Told you this Jaguar was fast. So far he's got a half a second lead on the field. Second spot we are running Carbon Boy, another one of the fast-paced McLaren drivers. Now you look at these lap times around here, and we got 0.025 between Carbon Boy and VF, 0.3 between Jim Bob and VF, and then it starts to break up a bit down to the Moth. EBM Mitch goes to second, puts in a 123.2. Porsche's pretty handy around here. It lacks on the straights, but it can make it up in the corners. Womble drops a 124.5 to slot him into sixth.
Hey, that's not a bad time for Womble. You'll be happy with that.
Just jump back up with Shizer. What's he going to do? He's coming around to the back straight, past the second burn zone. Can he improve, or is he going to pull straight in? Running a fair bit of camber on the back of that Jaguar. Straight into the pits goes Shizer. Flatstick improves to sixth. Knocks Womble off the spot with a 124.3. I've got all these buttons here, so start using them. The VF moves himself up to third with a 123.3. The Stranger moves himself to eighth. Carbon Boy slowly falling back. Got a little bit of a toe from I think it's Flatstick in front. The Obsession car looks really good on this track. Might be saving his best lap for last. He's only got 4 minutes 40 left. Welcome in the chat, Shaneski and Brad Stickers, aka Stickers.
Oh, Jim Bob. Got magnets down at 12 at the moment too. That's a bit of a surprise. We might be on the lap though.
Well, I think magnets maybe playing a little game here. We know them alphas are pretty quick around Maggie, but they don't use their tyres, so he can stay out and just put in consistent fast laps and hopefully just improve. And he puts himself to ninth with a 124.5, so he's about a second and a half off the pace. It'll be there come the end of the qualifying. Womble down to 10th. He was up to 6th at one stage. Excalibur moves himself into 11th with a 1:24.7. The Hondoys are proving pretty quick around Maggie, so maybe Aaron's got something in the bag for tonight. I did read somewhere in the chat that he has been moving house this week, so he hasn't had much practice and he's hurt his shoulder or something. Alright, where did that put Womble? Womble goes to 7th, he's improved a couple of spots. The Green Beacon Ferrari's always a bit of a standout livery. He puts a lot of effort into these ones. As does everyone, I should say. Evening, Mr. Bumcrack. So Shies are still sitting up the front.
Hey, that's running down the battle will be for second.
Oh, he's run wide. Magnet 1:24.2, so he's improved dramatically. Up to 8th. Alright, Shies is on his hot lap. Let's see what it looks like in car. Listen to this supercharged 5-litre Jag. See someone cutting the grass down here. Looks like Carbon Boy. Tracks on the right. So the Jaguar sounds as good as it looks. And it looks as if Shizer has this thing on rails tonight. Mitch still in second, holding a 1/10 gap over third. BF. Got a minute and a half left of qualifying. We've got any grid spot penalties tonight, Jimmy? I didn't seem to read that. I don't think we do for Group B.
We are missing somebody there. I don't know who that is off the top of my head. But we will have 13 on the grid tonight.
Flat stick goes a little bit quicker, puts himself up into 7th.
Just an update from the pit wall, guys. The missing driver from Group B is Filthy, who's been promoted up to Group A for today to replace, I believe, Airborne of Dadson.
There
you go.
I think that's right. I've seen from the points he was moving up. "30 seconds left. Womble goes quicker again. Puts himself to 6th.
That's away. Good boy, Womble.
23.6 he got. So he's only about 6.6 off the pace. Now some of the laps I've done around these tracks, I find my fastest lap is the first one. For some reason.
Yeah, I've been doing that all day. Fastest lap. It's always the first flyer, and then after that you drop sort of half a second.
Well, yeah, it depends on what car you're in. I mean, when we were in the M6s, I think the best lap you'd pull out about on lap 4. These ones you're getting on the first lap, so obviously the tyre wear is playing in a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those tracks where you got to look after the tyres, because otherwise they get murdered around here, especially the left-hand side. There's a lot of long, fast left-hand corners around here, so you've got to be on your toes and keep an eye on it.
VF improve. Carbon Boy doesn't. VF doesn't. Jim Bob's finished. Here comes Womble. Has he got anything for this last bit of a stretch? No. The Brev finished. I think that's pretty much run and done.
Excalibur's still going, apparently.
Excalibur's still going. He is parked on the grass as a lawn ornament.
EBM Mitch is still going, apparently, as well. In the timing.
I think he pulled out of this lap, so I don't think this will do him any favours. So we will be waiting for Excalibur. We've only got 12 seconds to go though. And then we are underway. You know what we missed out too? I didn't put the points up, and Filthy went to all that trouble to make them. We'll have to do it after the race.
Well, speaking of the points, I've got you covered there actually, because I've got them in front of me. With Filthy gone up to Group A, VF is currently leading the way for Group B on 34 points, 37 rather. He's tied with Shane from Deeds, S. Mitch, and Magnet. They're all on 37.
Wow. So EBM, Mitch and VF are next to each other on the grid too, so it should be interesting.
Alright, here we go. Let's jump in 5th spot. 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And we're racing! Everyone gets away. Looks as though the Shizer has got the start he needed from here. Shizer's pulling a big gap already. Here comes EBMS Mitch. Super quick off the line. Got the supercharged 5-litre it wanna be. So the 3 top are still in the top 3 for 3 top for qualifying are still in 1, 2, 3. EBM Mitch. Oh no, Carbon Boy I think was down a little bit. VF was 3rd. Dropped the spot. So we got 40 minutes. Compulsory pit stop, change of tyres, and a run to the end.
Is it 1 stop or 2 stop?
Two stops, sorry. Compulsory 2 stop. Trying to even up the field via the power, weight, and tyre usage and fuel usage as best we can come out with to end Series 4, Season 4. I see a little bit of Jim Bob's having a bit of a...
Sorry, Chase.
Chase gets a penalty.
Oh.
Burns it in the proper spot. Oh, he pulls back in right in front of Excalibur. Early days.
Excalibur nursing a dodgy shoulder as well, from what we've been seeing in the Discord as well.
Yep, I read that a little bit earlier as well. So that puts Excalibur 11th.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, there's a bit of a touch. Back of the pack's just starting to spread out. Looks like Excalibur's all over the back of the Brev at the moment. In the little Alpha, there's bumper grinding going on everywhere. Going for the overtake down the downhill. Look how big the Alpha looks compared to the Hyundai looks to the Alpha. Back up front, how's Shizer? Shizer out to a 2.1 second lead. As we go
That's
on board.
impressive from Shizer. He's currently midway or mid-pack on points in this group, so he's really outperforming his current point standings.
Well, the Jag certainly struggled at Red Bull Ring in the wet, and it's making up for it here. See the big gap he's got back to second. Looks as though Carbon Boy's taking the spot. Let's see if we can catch it. No, he's already got it by this stage. S. Mitch. The Porsche struggles a little bit around here compared to the big power cars. Although it's good in the corners, it struggles down the straights. It just doesn't have the raw power of the McLaren and the Ferrari, and probably in the NSX as well. But not to say it won't keep up. It definitely will. It just you are driving the ringer off it to get it to them times.
It's got very long gears, the Porsche, which makes it a little bit boggy on the straights.
Yeah, a little bit doughy. You're lucky to get out of 4th gear around here in the Porsche, and I think you're in 5th in the Ferrari and the NSX.
Yep.
VF tagging onto the back of this. looks like we got a couple of groups starting to form. Oh, Carbon Boy goes for the jump, or the big cover I should say, as S. Mitch takes a bit of an advantage there, gets the inside line, but he's going to be on the outside for turn 1. Could play into his favour though. If he holds on the outside, he can be on the inside for turn 2. Oh, he's thought about it. He's had to brake hard.
All this battling's bringing Magnet quite a lot closer, and that's your top three guys of Group B nearly all together now. Mitch, VF and Magnet all tied on points at the moment.
Well, Magnet, the little Alpha, first the little Alpha's up the front. Should be able to keep the tyre wear on the Alpha's really good. Should be able to come towards the end of the stint and maybe close the gap even further. But he's got Chase behind him as well, and then the Stranger in the big V10 Viper.
Difficult thing about the Alpha is it's got hardly any straight line speed, so he's very lucky on this track that the straights are so short. But even so, that Alpha, it can be overtaken quite easily, and it really struggles to overtake back. So he's got to lead the way and not give up that position.
Come on, Excalibur.
And then once you start running defensive, that's your lap time starting to slow down and people are starting to catch up. So we got Flat Stick down in 6th. I can see Womble catching up to the Stranger here pretty quick. Oh, there's a bit of some second-hand steering going on there from Womble. Doesn't want to turn the corner. Oh, I can see the Stranger's looking a little bit glitchy. Let's hope he can make the rest of the race. There's nothing worse than a DNF through a disconnect.
Come on, Excalibur, get that thing going, son.
Let's jump back to Jimmy, see what they're doing. Can see the second Alpha is all over the back of you too, Jim. Jimmy with a big lunge down the inside. Oh, it looks as though Aaron's got the turn in. Probably shouldn't be watching this. Commentator's curse it could be. Looks like
Battle
Aaron...
for 5th is still looking really hot at the moment.
Oh,
So we
look
got-
at him go with the cover.
Carbon Boy, VF, S. Mitch, Magnet. He's fallen off the back there a little bit now. Not far, but the gap doesn't really increase too far, but once it starts increasing, it's hard to catch it back up unless you're fully concentrating.
Well, Magnet was 2 seconds back, and I just saw on your last screen he was just within 1 second of EBMS Mitch there, so it looks like he's slowly reeling them in, and that tyre wear, like you say, might actually make a big difference towards the end of this stint.
I think it will. That's the gist of the Alpha that I get from the Lucky's Lawn Care camp.
Those 3 guys in front of him too, they've got the advantage of the slipstream on the straights, so he's going to struggle even more so to catch them in the straight sections because he doesn't have that advantage and he's already the slowest car there.
We'll go back down to the Stranger. This was heating up before. Seems as though the gaps have opened up. Flat Stick still in 6th place. Might have been back down a bit further, sorry. Might have been down in 8th with Womble. So we've got the 2 Green Beacon Ferraris running 8th and 9th. Kazi one, which I don't think we mentioned in the qualifying session. Second of the Green Beacon drivers. Oh, it was way down the field. Don't want to say that too loud, Jimmy, because I'm about to talk about you.
No, that's alright. I know where I am.
But from P10, Jimmy got the overtake that happened on Excalibur. Excalibur is now in P11. and has Dobrev and the Moth. So the Moth is Excalibur's old man. Let's see what the Moth can do. He's in one of the faster cars around Maggiore with the NSX. He may be able to make this happen to beat his young fella tonight. Excalibur.
Yeah, the NSX isn't too bad around here. It's just a peak to get going. That's all. It just sits there. Once it's up and going, it's all right.
Well, there's a little bit of a battle happening. It looks as though the Moth is definitely about to make a move on Dobrev. Power of the NSX down the back straight should help. The MRs are definitely suited to this track. Might jump back up the front. Who have we got? Shizer out to a 6-second lead now. 30 minutes to go. He might have a 30-second lead by the end of this race if he keeps this up. This is a Group A performance.
Just keep an eye on the tyres on the Jake, because once the tyres start going, she gets pretty slippery in the rear. So, but if he's got a gap on that already, he should be able to nurse it quite nicely.
He should be able to start just keeping the gap back to Carbon Boy at a consistent level, dropping his lap times a little bit, taking the corners nice and smooth. As we see EBM, Mitch and Carbon Boy going toe to toe here through the second quarter of the track. I think there's only 2 stages here. I'd say the second, third of the track.
We've now got your top 3 of Group B all in a line here on the points standings. This will be the tiebreaker between these guys, because it looks like Shizer is on track to take the full 21 points for fastest lap and pole position, as well as the race win here.
Well, there's not much separating them. There's not even a half a car between these. Looks as though Carbon Boy's got a pretty good handle on the McLaren as well.
He's going to make it very hard to overtake.
He's run wide! Although he holds on to it, but it has given VF a big look up the inside of S. Mitch. And I think he's going to take that spot. He does. So the NSX now up to 3rd spot.
This is exactly what Magnet wanted as well. He's gone into the pits prior to these guys for an undercut, and this fighting's just going to slow them up more, so he might take all 3 of them when they come into the pits.
Right, so we've seen this bit of a pit strategy in the group, in the TCC race with the Lucky's Lawn Care and the RCL boys coming in really early, because the tyres can last that much longer in the Alpha, that they come in early for the undercut. And it is a good opportunity if they're battling out in front of you, do it while they're slowing everyone up.
Yeah, it could be a crucial mistake between these guys in 2nd, 3rd and 4th to battle on this lap, but we'll see them come in soon and see what comes of that.
But there's nothing between these 3. Carbon Boy, VF and EBM Mitch. Back down to 5th place, we've got Chase, who has pulled into the pits by the look of it. So is the Kazi one. Jim Bob down in 7th into the pits. Magnet. Let's see where he comes out. We're going to have to take a lap around here for him to... Oh, it's not a couple of laps yet, because the front boys haven't pitted. So Carbon, one to look out. Not Carbon, sorry, Magnet. Already done his first pit stop, so keep an eye on him. The Stranger and Chase back out, so the Stranger's caught up to Chase here a little bit. There was a bit more of a gap between them before they went into the pits. I think Chase maybe had a little bit of a mishap coming out of the pits, or maybe just the Viper can change the tyres quicker.
The crazy ones managed to get around Womble as well.
Those 2 Red Mist guys might be working together a little bit, but yeah, they have swapped positions back there.
Hopefully they work together to slow each other up. It'll be real handy anyway.
Magnet's now on at least a 2-lap undercut, and these guys out in front have actually gone beyond a third of the way through the race, and with 2 stops you kind of want to split the race into 3 sections, and if they're going further than a third in, they're making this a very long stint, and it might be the wrong time to do it.
So we're seeing Shizer in the pits now. See the Jag getting a new set of boots. So we want to keep an eye on Magnet, where he comes out.
He's going to have to hang around the outside of these guys when he goes by. Could be very close.
So it looks as though he's got ahead of Magnet. Carbon Boy, I'll get them right at some stage. So I don't think this is played out yet. Did we see Carbon Boy and VF pit?
Yep, they've both pitted. So
But
Magnet
Magnet's-
has gone by Carbon Boy and VF and Shane Mitch. So he's done a massive undercut there.
Yeah, that's a big difference too.
It's crucial for the Alpha as well with that straight line speed disadvantage it has. It really needs clear air, so he's put himself in a perfect position right now, and it's a great opportunity for him to seize the first position in the Group B standings.
Now I've seen this in the TCC race. All the Alphas went in early for the early pit stop, and then I was sitting there wondering, I was in front of Cruisin', how did he come back out in front of me? But then he got his pit strategy right. It's a good call to those teams.
Yeah, and the gap is so pronounced between Magnet and Carbon Boy because of all that fighting they were doing while they were on their in-lap, whereas Magnet just had clear air the entire time and smashed out a couple of rapid laps and put himself well out of trouble. It's one of the best undercuts I've ever seen.
Also, I can see the Moth has got around Excalibur.
Oh, has he?
He is down in 12 spot Excalibur. The Moth is pulling away. I'll teach you a lesson yet, son, he says to himself. Sounded like I was about to read a storybook then, didn't it?
Story time, I'm sure.
So the Moth definitely improving this season. He's improved pretty good for the NSX. Definitely the MRs aren't the easiest cars to drive, but the Group 4s aren't too bad. I can say that. Definitely the Group 3s I didn't like anyway. I guess
What's
it'll
that
come.
phrase someone came up with?
Droid it.
Come on, boy.
That's the one.
Alright, so Shizer still has a 5.2 second lead. But Magnet
That's
can
actually
see
gone
the
back up
difference.
since Magnet came
Oh,
out.
Wobble's gone.
Magnet was within 3 seconds of him on the exit of pits.
Oh no, Womble's disconnected. He is going to be fuming. There's about 2-3 races this season that's happened.
2 in a row now.
I suspect that'll be console issues again. He was just talking about that today.
I think you're going to have to be sending that one back.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it does not want to play ball. We'll find out from him after. That's not even halfway through the race, so I think that incurs 0 points, doesn't it?
Yep.
You must complete 75% of the race to get half of last place points, I think. Should know this, being a steward. Magnet. Carbon Boy's starting to breathe down Magnet's neck now. He had a bit of a gap coming in out of the pits. So
This
here's
might be those worn tyres coming into play.
Yeah, and maybe the little bit of underpower from the Alpha, but Carbon Boy driving really well. One of the new blokes this season too. Straight behind him, he's got VF.
It's a good pickup by Precision Motorsport there. He's proven his word with Carbon Boy. He's very good indeed.
Just seen Magnet start to drive a little bit defensive coming into the last corner.
So Carbon Boy's result here is kind of irrelevant for the overall standings because he is right at the bottom at the moment. The main battle we're worried about here is Magnet versus VF because that's for the top of Group B. And it looks like Shane's dropped back, EBMS Mitch.
Carbon Boy gets around Magnet.
Easily done with that extra power there. Looks like Magnet's really struggling now.
Yep, here goes VF as well. I think VF will take him down the main straight here pretty easy. Not main straight, second straight. As he does, they've got the inside too. He'll have the power going up the hill. Jump into the slipstream of Carbon Boy. And the poor Alpha will struggle from there. EBM Mitch can smell a bit of a bit of a position change here as well, because he's got Magnet in his eyesights.
That's caught him right up there as well, that little bit of battling. Magnet's just going to have to try stick with these guys as long as possible and try another undercut towards the end of the race.
The Stranger and Plastic are having a great little battle for 6th place at the moment too.
Well, it looks as though the Viper is starting to come on song, because Chase had 6th place all to himself a little while ago, and now he's got company. The Stranger, another one of the newcomers for season 4. Good line there from the Stranger. Change it up. You don't want to be in the way of another car when you're coming around the corner and you can't see properly. The Viper looks
crazy one.
Oh, Jim Bob. Got a bit of a handful of a Ferrari in front of him.
Give him a bit of lights. Hopefully he'll get out of the way like his teammate did.
Careful, these green beacon Ferraris seem to disconnect a lot. He might be there 1 minute and gone the next.
Just the orange one, it seems.
Just the orange one, yeah. You'd be fuming if you were Womble tonight. He's dealt with this a few times now. It's nothing worse than practicing all week, and then when it comes time to put the race pace in, pop. 11 minutes into the race and you're out. The Moth down in 10th. He's got the breath starting to breathe down his neck now. Excalibur looks to have dropped off the pace by a fair way. 24 seconds. So he's had a big crash somewhere.
Just as confirmation from the pit wall, it was a PS5 issue and not a network issue on Womble's end of things. So the PS5 fault strikes again.
I can see you on the chat there, yes. It turns off completely while he's driving, so you can't do much with that. Welcome Ben, welcome Womble. Sorry to hear you are not racing. It's not the best of outcomes. Welcome Prua. As you can see, Shies is off out in the lead. He's making the Jag work tonight. He has a 7-second lead over VF, who sits in second spot. Who is starting to get a
Carbon Boy.
He's got a bit of a gap to Carbon Boy now. He's making a bit of space for himself.
Yeah, he would have overtaken him at some point while we weren't watching, because he was actually behind Magnet at one point.
Carbon Boy in third. The Deeds entry of S. Mitch. Down in fourth, we can see Magnet has dropped off this pack pretty well now. He's got 2.5 seconds back. Flat Stick down in sixth. Starting to leave the Stranger behind as well in the big V10 Dodge.
Oh, jeez. Braked way too late there.
Jim Bob got around the Kazi one. Two fairly matched cars around here, I think, is the NSX and the Ferrari. Looks like Kazi one's just sticking it in your mirror to make sure you know he's still there.
Yeah, I know he's still there, don't worry about that.
Oh, he's changed to the inside. He's going to go for the deep brake into the inside. Is it going to be a crisscross? Can Jim Bob make it work up the hill? Little bit of a touch, racing, Rubbin's racing.
That's right.
Good work, Jim Bob. got up the hill in front. Shizer just slowing down a bit now. He's out to 7 seconds before. He's down to 6.2, so he's either had a little bit of a mishap or he's definitely just looking after them tyres, slowing his lap pace down. He's got a long stint ahead of him. Oh, it looks like it's on for young and old now for position 3 and 4. S. Mitch has got the Porsche coming on strong in the second half of his second stint. The Porsche looks after its tyres really well as well. Not as good as the Alpha, but does look after the tyres pretty good. As he pulls into the slipstream down the second straight. Not enough go-go juice to make a run up the inside, but he does. He goes a late lunge. It's not too bad. There's a little bit of a touch there, but it's definitely passable move there. Look at the speed of the McLaren up the hill. So much extra power. Side by side through the S's. The Porsche is going to have to jot back in behind for the slipstream down to the last corner. He'll be able to outbrake the McLaren hopefully as he goes to the inside already.
I think the tyres on the Big Viper are a little bit second-hand at the moment.
So EBM Mitch has got that happening done and dusted pretty quick. So the Stranger down in 7th. Magnet's in.
Magnet's in.
Early stop again. Kazi one's not letting up on Jimmy either.
Oh, that's a bit cheeky trying to put it in there, son.
Brav down in 10th. The Magnet comes out in 9th. So now we need to see how much.
Fantastic stop there from Magnet's crew, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to get him back in the fight with the guys in front. He was a long way back when he came in.
Yeah, I think the gap was definitely smaller on his first stint out, so the second one the gaps were bigger going into the pits. I don't think he's going to make up the same amount of time, but he will put him into a bit more, maybe a bit more of a chance of fighting a battle.
He'll get close, but I don't think he'll be within firing range straight off the bat.
Moff down in 11th. Bit of a lonely race now. Excalibur's now dropped 37 seconds off the back of the pack. Excalibur's just doing laps now. He's in cruise home mode.
Jeez. Crazy one. That was a big lunge into the last corner.
Going to the pits, we might be able to catch that. Down the back straight. No, he's sideways. Takes the curb. Jimmy gets the undercut, runs it round. Easy, done. Both into the pits.
No 3 stops for Jim Bob tonight either.
No, let's don't do that again.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so the gap now down to Shizer has dropped down to 3.7 back to VF. So Shizer struggling here. Can't see his lap times on the telemetry, but
Well, Stranger's got a penalty.
definitely struggling. He was out at 7 seconds. He's down to 3, or he's just trying to make this car last because he knows he has the speed.
I don't think he's pitted yet, has he?
As he goes in.
There he goes.
You called it. Carbon Boy.
That gap to VF's very small on entry to pits there between Shizer and VF.
Yeah, I think Shizer's car was definitely hurting on the tyre situation.
Chase
7
and
seconds at
Stranger
one
have got a penalty.
Well, they must have followed both through the same section to get two of them that close having penalties.
Carbon Boy is going to have a perfect car at the end of this race. He's gone that lap extra here.
Well, he's gonna pull around and it'll be right on the 10-minute mark to get home. So definitely we'll have the nicest car for the run home. The Stranger, yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to get around Chase. He's been there all race and hasn't been able to do anything about it. Jim Bob's made up some ground though. You can see the Stranger in front of him now.
Yeah, that penalty helped out a lot for those two. Thank you, boys.
And the Kazi one, not leaving you alone yet, as I see the Dodge go right around the outside on Chase. I'll get back to it in a second. There we go. Let's see it on a replay. It's like he missed his brake marker as he coming down the hill. Or Chase braked early, one of the two, but he's looked as though he wasn't going to make the corner. He's pulled it up and got it done. Alright, Shizer. So we're looking for where VF comes out. VF's already behind him, so we're looking for where Magnet comes out as opposed to Carbon Boy and EBM Mitch. So he's got it in front of them again by the look of it. Because he's in third. Can't tell if Carbon Boy or EBM Mitch have pitted yet, but I'm guessing they have for him to only be 3 seconds in front and sitting in third spot. That undercut works superb for the Alpha. Carbon Boy will be loving being up in fourth spot. Probably by the end of this, we'll be tracking down Magnet for the podium.
VF will be absolutely stoked if Carbon Boy finishes ahead of both Magnet and EBMS Mitch, because that'll drop their points by quite a lot, and given that they're currently tied, that could make a big difference towards the end of the season.
EBM Mitch at fifth. A bit of a quiet third stint. Chase has had the big Dodge Viper all over him for the majority of this race now. In the Bez Media Ferrari. Stranger having a good run. Jim Bob now within slipstream distance. Let's get off Jim Bob in case something happens. Kazi one just drifting off the back of Jim Bob now. Just put in a couple of nice consistent laps, Jim Bob, and he's been able to pull away. Debrev down in 10th. Second Alpha not having the same luck as the Magnet. They're like a little go-kart, these things. Moff still holding off 11th. He doesn't have anything to worry about from Excalibur. Excalibur is 25 seconds behind. So we started this race off only with 13. We're now down to 12 with Womble that exited on the 10th or 11th minute of the race due to wasn't a disconnect, it was a PS5 failure by the look of it.
Yep, they'll be going back to the factory, not too stoked about that one, and I'm sure they'll work something out for Alsace next round.
I can see BPM Livery and Design says the Alpha is very twitchy. Well, it is.
Not only is it the slowest car in a straight line, it's also probably the hardest car on the grid to drive.
On for 6th place now, boys.
Don't do anything we wouldn't do, Jimmy.
Tried.
So what's the NSX got on the Dodge down the straights? Can it catch them?
No, not even close.
Need a good exit. You need a couple of good exits to catch him on the exit of the onto the straight so you can get a good slipstream. Looks like you're getting the better exit up the hill.
That Dodge has also got the slipstream from flat stick in front, so it's almost a dead heat between the two cars because they've both got an identical advantage.
Oh, he's got a penalty.
Who has, Chase or
Stranger's got a penalty.
Stranger
Thank you,
pulls
sir.
over? We're not seeing a penalty on my screen, but he's done it in the correct spot if he did. Well, while you're handling Chase at the moment, we might just jump back up to Magnet. Looks as though he's about to have his handful of Carbon Boy. Oh, the Alpha looking a little bit greasy on the tyres now. He's gone to the end, close to closing ends. I'll get this out in a second, the closing end to the stint. Mitch down in 5th. He's definitely keeping that Porsche not too far off the pace. A bit slow around the track here as we've been talking about all night. Definitely can put in a good lap time, but just doesn't have the legs, the Porsche, and the gearing is definitely not right for this track. But Carbon Boy and the Magnet are where it's at the moment. McLaren definitely has more power coming up the hill. You can see the gap close.
It's all on for this position.
Magnet sliding through the S's. I can see we're going to see a bit of a manoeuvre down the inside. He goes in McLaren. Alpha just has the extra pace around the outside. Slow down the straight. McLaren can't make any movement at the moment. Pulls to the outside. The outside's not a bad line here for turn 1. If you can keep the pace around the outside, it sets you up for turn 2. Which it looks like he's done. Carbon Boy with the move. Although Magnet not giving it up easy. Carbon Boy's got it done. Now Magnet has to do everything to stay in the slipstream now if he doesn't want to get caught by Mitch down, and we've still got another 3 minutes and 30 seconds of the race.
Yep, 3 laps to go for these guys, I think, and this is the perfect result for VF up in P2 with Carbon Boy forcing Magnet and EBMS Mitch to drop points.
I'm not sure if EBM Mitch is going to be able to make things happen in 3 laps. He's not far off the pace. He's got 2 seconds between him and Magnet, but it's a short track. 2 laps is not much time around here.
That Alpha's on the worst tyres of the group, though. Don't forget that he pitted a lap or 2 early, so this could make all the difference. Might see a final lap scrap between those 2 guys.
Not just that, the nerves start to kick in when you're in the front of the field and you come into the end of the race. Shizer,
Alpha's got so much backwards momentum right now.
Shizer 2 seconds ahead of VF. There's not much in this at the moment. 13 seconds back to Carbon Boy. We see the gap starting to open up.
VF and Shizer pitted at the same time as well, so you can guarantee VF's tyres are looking a lot better than P1's, so this could be all on as well. We saw how much Shizer faded in the last stint. Are we going to see that again?
Oh, he goes sideways into the corner. Drops a wheel onto the grass. Able to hold on to it.
Come on, Chase. Be nice, mate.
VF, let's jump through the field so we can see him before we get to the last lap. Carbon Boy in 3rd. He's pulling a gap on Magnet now. Magnet holding off 4th. EBM Mitch has now dropped. He's still hanging around the 2.7. No, he's not. He's down to 1.2, so he's closing this gap fast. It's nearly under a second at the moment.
He's got every advantage on track right now.
Just run back a little bit. Chase and the Stranger are having another battle as well.
Oh! That was a bit nasty.
Bit of Bit of a nasty one. So Chase, we see Jimmy miles ahead. Chase must just forget the brake.
Oh, wow.
Oh, strangers turn, half turned them around. Oh, it's getting willing here.
Oh, we're going to have to jump back up to Shizer in a minute. But this is where the action is, because the Stranger's struggling with the Viper at the moment. He's running wide, he's sliding everywhere.
Damn, not going to get around again either.
I tell you what, Kazi one's made all the positions here. Watching everyone just fall off around him.
He's done well here.
Oh, look at VF. Are they going to get another lap out of this? They're about to lap Excalibur. I think this could be it, and I think Shize is just going to hold on to it.
They might be coming to the line now.
Oh, they go one extra lap. Carbon Boy's going to finish it for third.
Great drive from Carbon Boy. Big music to VF's ears. They could still get P1 here.
Well done, Carbon Boy. Magnet takes fourth. He holds off Mitch. Flat stick. Still holding off.
Come on!
Jim Bob, who's got the drag run down to the finish line. Looks like the Ferrari might just get it. Jim Bob for 7th. Kazi one for 8th. Stranger gets 9th. Debrev rounds out 10. The Moth come home in 11th. Excalibur is a fair way behind at the moment, 42 seconds. Let's go back up to this battle for the front, because VF has got every little bit of NSX on that bumper.
Where's he going to go for it? What's he going to do? There's not many opportunities left.
I think if you could see the tyres are going on the Jag, he's going defensive, so you could go and brake as hard as you like. I think he's going to take the easy course but and take home second on the podium, unless the NSX has got some boost of power down the main straight. But it looks like Shizer's going to lead it from start to finish. Well done, Shizer. VF takes home second, and that rounds out round 4, Maggiore East.
That's a clean sweep for Shizer as well. That's 21 points in the bag. Fastest lap, pole position, and the race win.
Definitely a good race there from Shizer. You can see he struggled a little bit towards the end of the 2 stints. The poor Jag just doesn't look after its tyres too well. Good job from VF to jump up into second and chase that time down from Shizer. But what we might do is, since Filthy has gave us these points and went to the effort of making them, we'll put them up on screen.
You better put them up. Leave them up there for a while too.
So as you can see, Filthy has moved up, which meant he's in Group A. VF takes the honours now, and as you can see, Adam was talking about, you got VF, S, Mitch and Magnet all sitting on 37 points. VF would love that, coming home in second. Bit of a points break up from these two others behind him. Magnet definitely didn't like the alpha around this track. He'd get in front from that undercut on the pit stop strategy, which was working beautifully, and then it just didn't have the legs down the straights, and he just got passed back. And as we go to the team's points, Obsession is sitting on top still.
Could make a lot of changes there.
Yeah, everything's pretty close up the top. We got 2 on 136 and 135, which is Obsession and Cornerstone. Ragged Edge in 3rd on 124. Racing Cars Like Legend on 4th with a 119. And Blacklight 115 and 5th. Deeds on 114. 7th is Dadson Racing.
Well, that was huge points for a couple of teams that haven't seen too many this season. Shizer and Carbon Boy, both mid and lower end of the Group B points table, and they've scored very well tonight. So we could see some serious changes there. As for driver of the day, I think it's a hard one to give, but I feel like Jimmy needs to take it, because driving and making it work in P8 and getting your commentary done as well there, double job. I think that's very impressive.
Yeah, I'd give mine to Jimmy as well because I cannot do that one bit. You think you've seen me Troy it before? You watch me commentate at the same time, and it'll be just a. You may as well put a rail on the fence and connect my car to it.
Yep. Jim Bob taking one for the team and proving that men can, in fact, multitask.
I appreciate that, gentlemen. Thank you.
So we're getting a couple of driver of the days coming in from Shizer. 4 Shizer. Shizer driver of the
You
day.
can't deny a clean sweep, to be fair.
VF, yeah, I think that's fair. VF was another good candidate for driver of the day.
That's a fantastic result for VF any way you look at it, even though he didn't quite get the win at the end. That's a really optimal points haul, and of course we were talking about Carbon Boy kind of pinching some points from EBMS Mitch, and who was the other driver that was tied on points? I forget now, but the other two behind. Magnet, that's right. Magnet and then Alpha trying to make that undercut work, but couldn't quite make it happen. He was really struggling on tyres at the end there.
I tell you what, the mega undercut, I haven't seen much like that in too many races.
Well, it was fantastic, and he was helped, of course, by the guys fighting a little bit on the in-lap, but yeah, it was just the perfect timing. You couldn't really ask for anything better.
Well, as we move over to the TCT room, the Group A boys, we don't need to welcome into the chat Adam because he's been here pretty much the whole time, but Adam will be commentating with us for the second race tonight. These boys should be These boys should be putting in some pretty fast times. I think Stickers, Bumcrack, Race Fan, they're all going to be the couple of the blokes that will be putting out some of the fast lap times. What have you seen so far?
Well, Race Fan has been completely dominant on track so far this evening. He's been pretty untouchable from these guys, but there's a couple of guys mixing it in the kind of 22.6 range. Shinobi, Bumcrack, and a couple of other guys have managed to get themselves up there, but we'll see how they end up after qualifying because I think it's really anyone's game here still.
Well, before we go anywhere, Group A points.
Oh yeah, don't forget those.
So we have Race Fan running away with the championship at the moment on 92 points. Stickers behind for CJ Esports on 74, who's tied with Mr. Bumcrack for Ragged Edge Racing. Now that's interesting.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's very interesting.
Fourth, we have Honourably Airborne for Dadson Racing, who is tied on points with Prua. So there's another bit of an outcome that can go any which way with the points that are the same. And we're starting to see a little bit of this. Maybe it's the new point structure this season. Or it could be the new point structure in the stewarding, which could be messing with it. Shouldn't laugh about it.
Yeah, and I think looking at the points, of course, Filthy with the promotion from Group B, because of course we had an absentee this evening from Group A in the form of Airborne from Dadson Racing. So he currently sits on 39 points, and if he is de facto Group A, I don't know if Airborne's retired from the season or if he's just missing this round. Then he's going to need a solid points haul to keep himself ahead of VF, who will be nipping at his heels with that 16-point result in race 1. I think Filthy will probably need to be 12th or 11th upwards to maintain this spot.
Well, I know Filthy will come out and probably just do the unexpected and be mid-pack and just be brawling with everyone, but as he tries to tell you that he's no good in the Group A field, but he will be. The Good Doctor as well, another one that started back this season, another driver that's probably struggling with the McLaren a little bit, but he's had a bit of help tonight from yourself there, Adam, so hopefully he can put that together and bring out a good race.
Yeah, perks of having a spot in the com box, I suppose, eh? So we'll set these guys off, let them out on track for a 10-minute qualifying session and see who's the fastest man on track.
Sounds good to me. I'm ready to go when you are.
Yep, they're all off and running now.
I'm not in this race, which is good.
Yep, don't enter this one again. Good spread of cars in this one as well. We got an Alpha or two, as well as pretty much every make and model that's included in this series. Ferraris, Porsches, McLarens, Hondas, everything and in between. So we're going to see an interesting spread of cars here, and it's going to be a very good good opportunity to see what the parity's like between these cars on track.
I'm just trying to find up front here. So Mr. Bumcrack has got out. He's already got a penalty.
Yeah, that's all right, Mr. Bumcrack.
Goes around. Yeah, he's actually burning that now. We'll actually probably see Dadson go for the first lap. Oh no, Bumcrack's going to get it done.
I do believe that Mr. Bumcrack has grid penalties tonight too.
He does.
Yep. So we do have 3 grid place penalties to enforce. Just get those up on my screen here. So Bumcrack is one of them. Yes, most certainly. But there are 2 others. I believe Dadson is one of the others. So these are all 2 grid place penalties. Dadson's in for 1, and the other is
The
Bad Doctor.
Did somebody forget to register their drivers this week, Troy?
Look, I'm not going to say it out loud, but they could have. So, as we run through the field, we got Mr. Bumcrack in the Auto 1 for Ragged Edge Racing. Dadson for his own team there for Bacchus Breweries, and Dadson Racing in the Viper. Grr. First of the Jaguars tonight in the FGT for Counterpunch. Shinobi, racing cars like Legends, who's driving on the Chill Out Systems Alpha. The Good Doctor in the first of the McLarens. He's got the TMR Systems and the Paneski Polish Vodka Artisan Distillery. For Blacklight, Stickers. The Merlin entry for CJ Esports. Grassies, first of the Alphas. He's got the Autobahn entry for Lucky's Lawn Care, and then we go back to Darkside. We're going to start seeing some times.
Bumcrack is about to set his first time here, first across the line.
1:23.1.
Dadson crosses with a 24.2. The times that we've been seeing in quali have been mid-22s.
Shinobi goes to the top.
There you go. So the first of the 22s for Shinobi. And we'll probably see the same from the likes of Race Fan, who's still yet to go through T-Final.
That's a mega lap for a Group B driver. Oh, sorry, I should say TCT Group A driver. Especially in the Alpha. They got them Alpha.
Race Fan comes across with a 22.5. So it's not his best we've seen. He's been seen to do low 0.4s, but we'll see if that's enough to retain pole. That should be, considering the times we've seen from the others. I think the second fastest time we saw in practice was a 22.6. So we'll see who can get as close as they can to him now.
So do you think the Ferrari's just a little bit better suited here than most of the other cars? Because it seems like as if it can put in a super stellar lap time. Maybe not the best of the race distance, but it's pretty fast over a 1 lap pace.
I'd say the Ferrari is the complete package for this track, so it's good enough in qualifying. I think the Alpha has a slight edge, especially if it gets a slipstream from someone in front of it. But the Ferrari is very good in qualifying. We've seen front row starts from it in I think all the races we've had here so far. Grassie's there with the third of the 22s there, so he's just set a 22 as well, so that'll put him up in the podium positions. So yeah, it looks like Alphas and Ferraris on the front 2 rows at the moment, so kind of backing up my point there about them being the best 2 cars. But I think the Alpha struggles in the race, as we saw in the last one. With that straight line speed disadvantage, it's very easy to be overtaken and very hard to overtake back. So I think the Ferrari is probably the best car around here that we've seen so far.
Yeah, it looks as though we've seen a good race from Dadson in the wet. He's struggling a little bit in qualifying right now. We still have 4.5 minutes to go. It's pretty quick qualifying. Hopefully he can bring something home at the end.
Fast. The other car to watch out for is the McLaren. We actually saw, of course, the victory for Blacklight for the first time in their history here in Sector 1 from FSR Corgi last week in Group A of the Championship. So the McLaren has obviously got some worth round here. So I think Pruski might be one to watch out for here.
I see Shinobi just going into the pits. Yeah, Pruski definitely been up in the ante a bit lately. He's put in some pretty good performances.
He's making his name as a competitor, for sure.
Yeah, McLaren definitely a better car than the Group 3s. Sounds the best in my opinion. Let's get that nice V8. I think they're turbocharged. Are the McLaren's turbocharged V8s or they're just natural?
They are, yes. Yeah, they are turbocharged. So they do suffer from a little bit of turbo lag here and there, but seems to be pretty manageable from these guys.
Right, so Mr. Bumcrack has 2 grid spot penalty. He's going to want to try and get the best he can get at the moment so he can keep it up more towards the front with the penalties in place. Good Doctor down in 8th.
Good Doc's feeling good tonight after his adjustments he made to the car. He's really enjoying it, particularly in the race. The qualifying he hasn't noticed too much of a difference, but in race trim he's really feeling it from what he was saying earlier, so he'll be one to watch out for.
Probably give a mention to Darkside. He's had a bit of a bike accident at home, and I'm not sure if he's on his wheel or his DS4 tonight, but he's got some major hip and top of his thigh injuries at the moment that he's dealing with, so he's still out here racing. Shows the commitment he's putting in.
Not the first tonight as well. Excalibur was also working with an injury in Group B, as we were talking about earlier, so some really hard guys in Sector 1, it seems.
Bit of a passion going on, I think, for some of these drivers. As we see, the other Tyrone goes a little bit quicker into 7th. I'm just watching Race Fan as we speak because he's about to come onto the main straight. See if he can improve on his lap time. King Oscar improves a little bit to a 23.9. Okay, what's Race Fan got? No better. Might be on his out lap.
So it looks like he pitted in at the end of lap 3, so he's actually done 2 laps in a row there, so I suspect he'll make this his last one.
Just welcoming into the chat, we've got Donny Baseball. He says going off the current standings, looks like the Ferrari has been the one to beat. Definitely has been the one to beat. Brocky and Race Fan have been leading the way, I guess, in both their groups. It's definitely one of the car all-round packages like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, the Ferrari proved its worth in Brocky's hands the other week because he fought back from a false start actually on the grid to get himself P2 in the points race in the sprints last week, and of course we know how tough it is to move up the pack in the sprint races. So Gura sits at 23.393, so he's only 1/100th of a second behind the other Tyrone. He's got an opportunity here to set another lap. Filthy with a 24.1, and then is another 0.033 to Daz in front in P6. So Gur could potentially get himself a couple of positions here if he improves by a small margin.
So Filthy is the second of the Blacklight entries tonight in the second McLaren for my tracks. Excavations, I believe it is. This is the one we're talking about that was meant to be in Group B. He's moved up for the night. He's holding out Dadson at the moment, so that's a pretty good effort.
Yeah, Filthy's looking pretty good.
And the Good Doctor's 10th.
Yep, he's looking good as well. He set his lap on his second lap, funnily enough. And I don't think he's had a pit stop since, but I think he's run and done where he is. Bad Doc's on a lap at the moment. I can't tell if he's up or not, but his tyres are looking pretty worn, so I don't know if it'll be an improvement. And the King Oscar also on a lap, but on seriously worn tyres here, so I don't think he'll be improving.
Now, a 22.4, even if it's you could pretty much call, oh, that's race over. Shinobi.
Oh, wow. Shinobi goes 0.028 shy of pole position. That's a fantastic job there from Shinobi. So that's really solidified his P2 there, I think. Grassies has got himself a 1.5 second penalty, so he's done for the day. And Pruski's coming up, but I don't think he's going through for a lap here either.
Okay, Sticker's another one of the ones we missed. He's just coming up to the finish line now. Can he improve from 9th? I don't know if he's got enough to do it. He does.
Come on, Stickers.
Moves up to 6th. I think that's qualifying run and done. We don't have too many more out there. That's it. It's time to go racing. Qualifier has ended.
That's a great job from these guys as well. So these guys will be red flagged because we do have good place penalties to hand out. So I'll send them back to the pit boxes and rearrange the grid order for them to get started shortly.
So coming up this week, there's not a lot on this week, so we're not going to be coming up. We're having a week's break off the community series. It'll be back the week after on the Thursday from 8 o'clock. And then we will be at round 5. We only have 6 rounds this season. Last round for the main series will be at Bathurst. Can't wait for that. We haven't driven there in a while.
And round 5's is it Alice Gay or however you say it? I would have said that wrong.
I just say Alsace. It's the easiest for me.
Alsace, there you go. We've never been there before, so it should be it'll be really interesting to see how everyone goes there. I'm going to have to start doing some laps tomorrow, and I'm pretty sure the lobbies will be pretty full on this week.
So we've got a couple more viewers join us in chat now. Well, we might just have a bit of a chat while we're waiting for the grid to be set. Shiza has joined us in the chat. Well done on your great drive there, Shiza. Good to see. Aaron Excalibur has joined us in the chat. The Bad Doctor, Marcus Priest, he's in there. Kazi one's in there. We have the Brev. Everyone's jumping in. So the boys from Group B are jumping into chat. We have seen Race Fan take the top of the qualifying position for tonight, followed by Shinobi, and then I believe it was Mr. Bumcrack, who will suffer a 2 grid spot penalty to put him down on the 3rd row. Not far off now. Not the best of things to do for the RD is to reset the grids. Everyone needs to be on the ball and getting back into the room and entering as fast as they can. But yes, as we go back to what we were talking about, round 5 is Alsace Village, new track for Sector 1. Definitely not bad. Did a few laps in the Porsche around there. It's yep, you're going to have to do a few laps to get used to the track. It's a little different, but definitely different to what we normally do. So it should bring out some really good racing.
Definitely. It's a tough track, and it's always been a hard track for even the best drivers to get their head around. And a fairly long track as well. Not something we usually see on the Sector 1 calendar. We usually see tracks that are around a minute and a half, a minute 20 for a lap. Alsace is more like 2 minutes or 2 minutes 10 in these cars.
Yeah, something like Suzuka or maybe Monza chicane. I think they go around the 157s, 156s. From memory, I could be wrong there too.
Yeah. We did have a Suzuka race last season, but yeah, like I say, it's not uncommon to see 1 minute and a half laps in Sector 1 races generally. I've got one guy that's not entered here. What's going on? Are we missing someone? Oh, Pruski's left the room. There we go.
He can't get back. He can't get back in. He's got to do a console reset.
A reset. All right, not a problem. I'll edit the grid without him for now.
Kazi one's in the chat. Good drive from the Kazi one, keeping Jimmy honest there for a fair bit of the race.
Yeah, he did have a solid race there in the first race of the night.
I tell you what, though, if I knew Womble was going to crash out a third of the way through the race, I wouldn't have spun myself out trying to avoid him.
Oh, good to show you put your manners first, mate.
So as I was talking about before, just going back to this race, Dadson had a good outcome on the Red Bull Ring Wet, where I believe he finished second or third. Struggling to put it together tonight for the qualifying. Maybe it's a race pace car, not so much a qualifying one lap pace. But as you can tell, they're two compulsory pit stops, so they only got to run 10 minutes. It's not a great, well, let's say 12 and a half minutes they've only got to run to even out the to make the race run even with your pit stops, and it's not a great deal of time when you're running around in the 130s, 123s and all that. So I think Dadson is probably in for a bit of trouble tonight if he's that far off the pace.
Yeah, I think I actually spotted in practice that he looked like he was having some throttle issues. He wasn't quite getting to 100% throttle input. It was hovering just below. So if he's lacking that speed in a straight line, that's a massive disadvantage that's going to cause a massive problem. So I'm not greatly surprised to see him this far off the pace with an issue like that. So yet another Sector 1 driver that's having some sort of issue that's preventing them from racing at their best capacity. So just waiting on Pruski to get back in here. The grid is otherwise set. So once he gets in, we'll chuck him in his own spot and get the race underway.
Well, it'd be like Dadson running the Alpha's power with the Viper's weight. So it'd be pretty slow.
Yeah, it's going to be a pain to drive. He's going to have to try get on the power the earliest out of everyone, which is hard enough to do at the best of times. But if he wants any chance of being in with a shout, he's going to have to do that. But I suspect he's just going to be hanging off the back with an issue like that. It's almost completely insurmountable. Looks like he's going to be spending the coming weeks taking apart his pedal set and cleaning it down, trying to get it back up to scratch.
So in the chat we got Shiza. Thanks, Aaron, you made that Hyundai wide. Well, he did. Toe Jam, even stints is the words you were looking for. Yep, that's the one I was trying to aim for. Couldn't spit it out.
Yeah, evening out the stints is one of the hardest parts of these races because, of course, you've got a timer to go off as opposed to a lap count, so you can't just do some quick maths and divide the lap number by 3. You have to divide the timer by 3, and it's kind of your next best guess as to what the best time to pit is. And the other thing is, a lot of these guys might actually be used to using the guys from the championship as a reference for strategy, so you can obviously watch the championship race and see what laps the guys pitted on, when they took tyres, and how long their stints were and where they finished. But in this instance, last week was the sprint race for the championship guys, so they got no frame of reference for strategy from them. So there might be a couple of guys, if they've been relying on that in the past, that are going to struggle this week purely because of that.
Strategy's always one area I've probably struggled in the most, especially when it comes down to the longer races. Some people look after their car.
The mandatory stops make it a little bit easier to work out your strategy because you have to do 2, so you just got to work out when as opposed to how many. Because in the past, of course, it's been not only working out how many stops you got to do, but as well as fuel, which we don't have this season either. So a little bit of strategy taken out for the guys who have a bit of trouble with it.
Yeah, essentially, season 4's just pretty much been a qualifying session. No fuel usage. Tyres they do wear, but they're not the fastest wearing. So it's been different. It's even the cars out from what they were at the start at least, and looking forward to season 5.
Yeah, it's been a big change from, of course, Group 3 as well last season. So the guys stepping into a completely new set of boots here this season with no fuel and down into Group 4 as well. It has seemed to bring the racing pretty close together. Having said that, it's we've seen some awesome races this season. The Group 4 seems to bring the guys closer together because it's, of course, not as much of an issue trying to put the power down at Exeter corners and things like that. So it's been good. It's been good for the content on the channel for sure. And speaking of content, all those in chat at the moment, I hope you're all doing well. Don't forget, while you're there, if you haven't already, subscribe to the Sector 1 YouTube channel and drop a like on the stream to get it as much push as possible so we get all eyes on it where we can.
That'll be right. The old like and subscribe button doesn't want to work right now.
We've actually got Dadson in chat there. According to my pedals, I do have full throttle, so perhaps that's changed since I did last check up on him in the practice session. But I'll have a look at him when the race starts and see what his input is looking like, and see what we get from him. Have you got any contact with Pruski going on there, Troy?
I don't.
Okay, I'm just going to keep an eye on the Discord, see if he's sending any messages through in there.
He's performing third reset, he says.
Third reset? Is he struggling to get in, is he?
He is.
Okay. Alright, so that was 1 minute ago, so hopefully he comes in.
So what I might do is send Pruski maybe the room ID number, then you can go in that way. That normally tends to help.
We'll see what happens. If he does, after this third reset, not manage to get back in, we'll try starting up a new lobby and see what happens there.
But we might jump on one of the cars while we're waiting, just to give the viewers something to look at rather than a slideshow that keeps going around. So we have race fan on track. No, we don't. Obviously that's not race fan, that's Grassy's. Okay.
Alright, so I've got a message from Pruski saying he can't get back in, so what we're going to do is try to reboot the lobby. I'm going to restart the app as well, make sure that everything's clear on my end, so that...
I think it might be your lobby anyway, because I can't change from Grassy's.
Oh yeah, neither can I, so it looks like there is something going on there. Alright, I will let the guys know. Shutting down the room.
So we can't go one stream without having a bit of GT Sport or the stream playing up on us.
Yeah, always a shame, but we'll get it sorted, I'm sure.
So, while we are waiting for this to go again, so driver of the day was looking like Shizer. Going back to the Group B race because that's the only race that's working so far.
Not the first time we've had a pit issue mid-race or mid-event with this track. Maggiore always seems to bring out the worst in the pit glitches and things like that.
Well, better to do it before the race starts than during the race.
Absolutely, yeah. Might have had to turn it into a sprint race if that had happened. So, thankfully, we're all clear in that regard. So I will get all my cache and things like that booted, emptied, and all that sort of thing. Load up a new lobby for these guys.
It seems it's always the second race too.
Yeah, someone coming from one room to another seems to cause it problems. That's alright though, we'll work something out here. Okay.
Going to the GT Sport theme background, different slideshow.
Slightly different one, yeah. Change it up. Righto, that lobby should be up in the next few seconds.
So once this gets up and running, we are looking toward one of the better races that we will be seeing, because Mr. Bumcrack is going to be letting loose. That doesn't sound right, does it, Mr. Bumcrack letting loose?
No, don't know how I feel about that turn of phrase. You're going to have to run that by the admin before you use that again.
It's only 8:30, mate. You should have kept that one for half an hour.
Alright, let's see if this room's open.
Yep, I've got people joining already, so it should be all good to go.
Is Peruski in there?
I haven't seen him yet, but we'll wait and see.
Oh, look, I'm driving the Bez Media Ferrari. Thought I'd better see what all the fuss is about. Good doctor says he won by 2 seconds over Filthy, just so everyone knows. Cheers for watching.
Written and authorised by.
And then the green flag dropped.
So no Pruski yet, and I suspect he's had a crack at getting in here, so it may be something on his end. But it looks like we are having problems yet again. We'll see what he has to say in the Discord.
Come on, Pruski.
Just GT Sport things, I reckon.
Well, they should hurry up and bring out this GT7. Everyone's waiting for that, and it just keeps getting delayed. Stickers is in. Oh, just signing.
Yeah. Pruski's mid reboot at the moment, so he'll be here shortly, I think. If he does make it in, of course. There he is. Alright, so he's all good to go then. So I might, just quietly, before we get going again, I'll start resetting the grid now. It might be an issue directly between myself and Pruski. Our net types may not be compatible. It is a common glitch in GT Sport that you'll get two guys in the same lobby who can't actually see each other on the grid, which may be what's going on here. Just it's host versus one of the drivers. So hopefully that's not the case, and hopefully we don't see that issue again. But if it is, that might be what's going on.
Well, while we're waiting for the grid to be set, I might jump back onto the team points. So we've got Obsession winning over Cornerstone and Ragged Edge in third. Racing Cars Like Legends in fourth. Blacklight fifth. Deeds sixth. Dadson Racing in seventh. Team 53 in 8th, CJ Esports in 9th, Aussie Hampton Racing in 10th, Death Grip Racing in 11th, Counterpunch in 12th. So Counterpunch doing not too good on the team standings. Which, oh yes, that's right. They're the Jags. They've struggled with the Jag a little bit. Let's give them a break. Lucky's Lawn Care down in 13th, and Red Mist Racing. Well, we can understand Red Mist at the bottom. Womble just having the disconnects that he's had. So
every single time it seems.
See a few out on track now. Group A points. The race fans got a fairly good advantage over Stickers, and Stickers didn't qualify too well tonight. Not the best, not probably where he wants to be. We are missing Honourably Airborne tonight, which would have been good to see another Viper up there.
Yeah.
What's Pruski got? Pruski in the McLaren, Tamar Carr's McLaren. Struggling to get into the room tonight, so maybe it's doesn't want him to win.
Alright, the grid is set and the green flag is about to come out for these guys. So we're about to get them underway finally for 40 minutes here at Maggiore East. Everyone is entered up, we are all set to go. Give the guys a moment to double check the grid order is correct for them. We don't want any mistakes on the grid. And then we'll get them going.
Alright. Let's do this.
So here we go. We're round 4 now, aren't we? Maggiore East.
Round
Touring
4.
Car Trophy, Group A, so the big boys, of course. Race Fan on pole position with a dominant start, although Shinobi, of course, coming well within a tenth of his time there, so we could be on for a fantastic battle for P1, especially with that Alpha's tyre wear, as we've seen.
Well, we might be struggling. Here we go, the lights are up. Let's see what the McLaren's got off the start. We're away, the McLaren gets a good job. So do the Alphas. And here comes a Porsche.
Race Fan's going to lead them through T1. Shinobi slots into P2 there. Grassy's in P3. The McLaren's going to go for a big dive there from Pruski up the inside of Grassy's to take third position. That's disaster for Grassy's there. He absolutely had to keep that position, so he slots in P4 behind Pruski there. But Shinobi's kept himself in a nice good position up there as Race Fan goes wide at turn 4. Big gap there between Shinobi and Pruski, so the top two have absolutely skipped away here, and they've actually broken the slipstream as well. Bit of an attack there from Daz in 5th, looking up the inside of Grassy's in front. He's going to want to get past that Alpha as quick as he can. Really bunched up here, these guys, quite early on.
See the two Porsches running together.
Yep.
And now we got the other Tyrone, I believe it is, in the Hyundai for Revolution race gear. Hopefully you can get that Hyundai up a bit, up the front end of the field. Death Grip Racing struggling a little bit with the start of the season in the Merc. He's into the Hyundai now, so hopefully they can get up the front. Good Doctor down in 10th.
Not the best start for him, I don't. Well, actually, no. He's held his position there, hasn't he? Filthy up the inside of Dark Side for P11 there as well. A very firm move there at T1, and Dadson looking for a move there as well. Speaking of Dadson, it looks like his throttle's come right here. He's got 100% accelerator input, so I think he's all good for the race now.
So he was just fibbing in qualifying.
No, I was actually looking at him in practice, and I saw the inputs visually that they weren't hitting 100%, but it looks like it's come right for him now. Either that or he had something stuck under his accelerator at some point.
Alright, so Race Fan not skipping away as fast as I thought he might.
He's right on the edge of slipstream now. Shinobi has just about fallen back into the clutches of Pruski behind, but he's managed to pull out a little bit of a gap through there and actually get a bit closer to Race Fan once again. So it's crucial that Shinobi stays in the tow of Race Fan in front, because we've seen how fast Race Fan can be. And once the tyres start coming into play for Shinobi and that Alpha, he'll have a great car to work with towards the end.
So if he could just stay within striking distance of Race Fan, he's can do the undercut like we've seen in Group B, make up massive advantage in time.
Absolutely. He's just got to stay in touch here, and that looks like it's the hardest thing for him right now, is matching Race Fan's pace, but he's doing a good job of it so far. He's almost out of slipstream range before, but he's managed to hold it together here, it seems.
Pruski down in 3rd. Grassy's just jumped off the back a little bit. Grassy's definitely needed to stick with Pruski here, and he's doing a good job of it, but just falling off. And then you go back a little further, we got Daz and Mr. Bumcrack down in 5th and 6th.
Yeah, so they've split into 3 groups of 2 here, and the front group, the front pairing and the second pairing is Grassy's actually looks to the outside of Pruski there. He's not going to find anything there, I don't think, but it looks like a little bit of an error there from Pruski. Might bring them back into the clutches of Daz here, but we're seeing a similar situation between Shinobi and Racefan out the front, and Grassy's and Pruski here for 3rd and 4th, but I think Grassy's is going to go for the move here into the hairpin if he gets close enough. Looks to the inside. He's not close enough to have him under brakes here, but Pruski gives him plenty of room there, but then dives in for a late apex. And Grassy's is going to have to settle back into 4th position here and wait to attack another time. We got a side-by-side moment for Daz and Bumcrack back here, though, 5th and 6th. Mr. Bumcrack's going to have the outside for T1, which quickly becomes the inside for T2, as we've seen many times, but he lets him through. Doesn't go for it there, so he's more than happy to stay behind. Maybe because he sees that they're getting closer and closer to Grassy's and Pruski in front.
I think Mr. Bumcrack from the team chat has come to the exception that the Porsche isn't the best around here. He'll take what he can. He's not one to make any bad intensive moves, so maybe just slotting behind just to keep it nice, safe, keep the tyres nice and not wearing them too quick. I'm definitely lost for words.
Yeah.
I get lost for words every time I go on stream.
It looks like he's thinking about the long run here as he just manages to hold on to the slipstream there of Daz 930, and we actually saw Grassy's and Pruski go side by side for a moment there again, which backed them up into Daz even further. So looks like Pruski's having a bit of a hard time with the uphill right-hander. They're nearly side by side yet again. Actually, Grassy's looks to the outside, gets pushed a little bit wide. Daz 930 is going to take advantage here. Is he going to have the drive on the straight? I don't think he is. That Alpha had a very wide entry into that last corner, so he's managed to hold it together for now. But they're trying to figure out where to go here as they head down the straight. Grassy's to the outside, Daz to the inside. He's going to try to take both of them here. He munches the apex there on the way through, and he redresses, in fact. It looks like he's let off there and allowed Pruski through, and that actually has given Bumcrack the opportunity to sneak up to 5th here.
And Stickers has moved up to 6th as well, so he's got through as well.
Yeah, that's really hurt Daz there. I think he went for a very ambitious dive there on Pruski, and the door got shut on him a little bit late, so he it looked like he redressed and got off the throttle there to let them through, and it's really hurt him there. So it might have been better in this instance for him to cop a penalty from that one. In all honesty, you hate to say it, but he's really punished himself here and dropped himself 3 positions back now.
Well, I'm just seeing Mr. Bumcrack in 5th. He's got the Alpha in his sights.
That Alpha's right there, and crucially, that Alpha is too far behind Pruski to actually get a meaningful slipstream up the hill here. So Bumcrack has all the power right now. He's going to be able to go for a move here. Has he got the brakes though? That Alpha's very strong. Late apex there from Pruski, and Daz is going to sneak in there as well. Go for a bit of a move, and Bumcrack's dropped well off Grassy's and put him right back onto Pruski there as well. So that was a great corner for Grassy's there. Mistakes all round except for him. So a great job.
Just looking at the replay, and Daz has come from 2 car lengths back.
Oh wow!
He's definitely giving it everything tonight, Daz.
Well, Daz's tyres are looking a little bit worse for wear than Bumcrack in front, who of course is in the same car here. So that just tells you a little bit about their driving style. The guys out front though, Racefan and Shinobi, they're very close together and just kind of hanging on to each other at the moment. They've pulled a massive gap to Pruski behind, 5 seconds now.
I tell you what, Shinobi is doing a great job to stick with the Ferrari as close as he is. At one stage there in the beginning, we thought he was dropping off the slipstream, and he's right on the back of him now.
Yeah, a bit of a slow start there from Shinobi, but he's worked it out just in time, and he's having a great race now. But the question is, how does he get past Racefan? It's going to be a really hard ask to get that done, because the Ferrari is just so much faster in a straight line that the Alpha really has no power. He could try and undercut, but then he'd be relying on raw pace to get past Racefan, and it looks like Racefan just about has him covered in that regard. So he may even have to go for a longer stint and hope that his tyre life is actually working in his favour here. But we'll wait and see. It's up to him to see what decision he makes and how to strategise this one, so only time will tell.
Yeah, well, he's definitely bumper to bumper right now. Definitely pulling away from the second group. Pruski is now 5.8 seconds behind Shinobi. Looks as though Grassy's was slowly etching up onto the back of Prua there, but you're not going to get around Prua without a bit of effort.
Yeah, just looking back down the field a little bit, Gur 17 was actually well and truly inside the top 10, and on the home straight, pit straight on the previous lap, he served himself a 1.5 second penalty. I don't know where he picked it up, but he's lost himself a bucket load of positions, and he's now in P12 here. And that Jag, of course, the tyres will be wearing severely, so he'll be struggling a little bit in this stage of the race. We've got side-by-side action as well for P10 here. The other Tyrone had a look at Filthy there into the S's, but Filthy's managed to keep it together, and there's more happening as well between Bumcrack and Daz for 5th and 6th here. Bumcrack manages to get ahead just about, but he's got Stickers and Daz attacking him into the hairpin there. That was very aggressive from the two of them. They're going to be 3 wide onto the straight here as well. So this is going to be a massive battle into T1. Yep, he sure is. I don't know who's going to win out of this one. We've seen Daz go for ambitious moves into T1 before. It looks like Bumcrack's going to try and hang it around the outside of the T1. That's going to be difficult, but he's done it, and he gets the inside for T2. That is a fantastic bit of driving there from Mr. Bumcrack in the Auto 1 Porsche. Around the outside of 2 drivers there. You don't see that very often.
Well, I think Stickers is going to have a bit of trouble getting around Daz. Stickers is gone.
Oh no! And he's into the wall with a 1.5 second penalty as well.
He's just hit the grass. Just clipped it, I should
the
say,
grass
on
the
exit.
exit there. Lost the back end. Darkside tries to go through there on Filthy back there if you see that as well. There's a bit of side-by-side action down in P10. I'll tell you who's having a fantastic race though. P7, the good dog. He's gone from P10 on the starting grid to P7 here, and he's really holding his own as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's not far off Daz and Mr. Bumcrack himself, so, and they're legit players for Group A in this TCT competition.
Yep, and they're battling away as well. They have not stopped for 1 second, and that's really helping the good dog out here. Grassies is in first. Shinobi chooses to go around with Racefan crucially and not go for an undercut here, so that's quite interesting. I think it might have been in his best interest there, but he's managed to hold on, and he goes around again. Daz as well goes around again in the Porsche by himself, so he's got clear air. Gur as well is looking to extend his first stint a little bit. The King Oscar and Dadson as well going around for a 9th time here. Dadson's tyres are really struggling at the moment.
Yeah, I can see the amount of...
Both the Vipers are.
The amount of turn he's putting into the car as well is probably not helping.
Yeah, they're working those tyres pretty hard, but these FR cars are... they're going to struggle on their tyres just about everywhere, and this track in particular, with all that weight over the front end, there's not much that they can do. Up the front, Shinobi is all over the back of Racefan still, so he's managed to keep it nice and close, and they'll probably come into the pit this lap, I suspect, and get their second stint rolling.
Well, the Alpha is looking pretty poised at the moment. It was back 0.7 at the start of the lap. He's been able to get back on the bumper. He needs to pull in now. He stays out. He's going for the longer stop.
Wow, so Shinobi's gone for a long first stint, so he's going to give himself the best car to race with. We've got a penalty back at P7 for Grassies as well on his outlap here, I think. Yep, he is on an outlap at the moment, so that's going to ruin his undercut right there. He served it on the back straight there. Dadson's going to go in for his pit stop and allow Grassies to move on up the field, but Pruski here is going to go for a move around the outside in the McLaren as well on this home straight.
I tell you
Race
what,
fan's already out, so these guys aren't going to get done.
the good doctor is definitely within striking distance now.
Down in P8, yeah, he's got Daz 930 in his sights, and these guys are still fighting once again. Grasses is backed up with them now as well, because he was actually out in front of them after his pit stop, but with that penalty that he served, it's put him right in the mix, and he's seriously on edge right now, because that Alpha, of course, as we know, it doesn't like to overtake, it needs the clean air, and he doesn't have it right now.
I've just seen the Auto 1 car of Dark Side. He's just gone around understeer into an oversteer.
So that's another incident at that corner. It looks like it's catching a couple of guys out here tonight. So that puts him down in P11 with a 1.2 second penalty as well.
Hit the wall hard. If this was real life, I believe there could be some tow trucks coming around the field.
So Shinobi's in. So if you jump on board with Race Fan, you'll probably see the gap as they come across the line here. It'll be interesting to see where Shinobi comes out in regards to Race Fan, because he was right on his rear bumper before he went round for his extra lap. I suspect there'll be a subtle gap now. In fact, there's a serious gap. That's a massive undercut from Race Fan there. I'm not sure about Shinobi's strategy here, but it looks like it's lost him out short term, and he's going to have to work something out long term here.
Now, I'm not sure if over one lap there was a 2.5 second difference in lap times, but that's definitely set him up with a good amount of distance between first and second, so he could just drive it on home. Well, he's doing another pit stop to go yet. We're only 25 minutes in.
Yeah, the crucial thing to note about an undercut is that it's usually performed by the driver behind, and of course Shinobi was the driver behind in this case, and he went further. So Race Fans undercut him from in front of him, so he already had probably half a second to 6/10 on him, and he's extended that now to 3 seconds with that undercut. And I believe that he's gained all that with a tyre advantage, because that Ferrari's tyres would have been pretty bad towards the end of its stint, and the Alphas, of course, would have caused Shinobi problems on that inlet he was doing. So it all looks like it's going according to plan for Race Fan at the moment.
Looks as though Brewer's got back around Grassy's.
Very late, yep. He's gone for a very late apex into that final corner. Bumcrack and Daz are side by side here as well. But Bumcrack gets the exit, and he's going to get himself into T1 first out of the pair of them. Good Doc's still hanging tough back there in 7th. I think he's got an opportunity here to steal some positions once these guys start squabbling again.
Now, when you got a person like Daz behind you who's really pushing the fact of trying to get past, it kind of plays on your mind a little bit coming into corners. Is you know where your brake markers are, where you like to turn to get your fast lap times, and you're kind of looking over your shoulder the whole time, and it slows you down. And that's exactly what I think is doing to Bumcrack as we speak, because he's just dropping off the back of Grassy's now.
That's exactly what you want as a chasing driver as well. In Daz's position here, you really want to keep the guy in front of you guessing, because that's obviously going to slow him up and allow more opportunities for you, because if he's just focused on the road ahead of him, he's going to be a faster driver and harder to overtake. So to keep the guy in front of you guessing is a skill that not a lot of drivers have, and it looks like Daz is really pulling that out of Bumcrack for this one. I probably shouldn't say it that way, but we'll talk about that later. But he's putting the pressure on nonetheless.
With Bumcrack.
Yeah, it's true that side by side between Grassy's and Pruski, though. Pruski's going to get it back here, but Grassy's does have the inside for T1. Sweeps across from the outside there, Pruski, and takes that position back. So he's really doing well in that McLaren there, because there's been a couple of opportunities for Grassy's to lead the way, and Pruski's just managed to shut him down in time and get past him so that he can hold him up in the corners, because that's, of course, where the Alpha is the strongest.
Just starting to see Bumcrack now applying the pressure, so he's had an answer for Daz. He's moved away, now he's on the back of Grassy's. Maybe the second.
So he's transferred that particular pressure to the next driver in front of him, which is a good move. There was a little bit of battle between Grassies and Pruski on the home stretch, so that allowed Bumcrack to get in there and apply a little bit of pressure for a moment there.
Oh, it's a bit of a touch there of Grassies. You can hear there's not much in it. There's the McLaren slowly pulling away, but long gears in the Alpha. Deep under brakes. Got Mr. Bumcrack right behind him. Might go a bit further down the field now. Look at the good doctor, who's not dropping off too far.
He's very much in no man's land at the moment, but he's looking good, and he's in a decent position to take over from the guys in front of him if anything goes wrong. So I think he's having a great race so far.
I think that's the way he might be looking at it, because anything can happen with the four in front, and because they all seem to be bunching up right now.
We've already seen him gain a free position from I think it was Darkside who had an error, and that cost him dear. So he's not a stranger, the good doc, to picking up the scraps when someone makes a mistake. So it's good to see from him so far.
We've just seen Filthy have a bit of a mistake out of turn 3, I think it is, down the hill. The big.
I think you might be missing a crucial overtake here up the top. Grassies has just gone from 4th to 6th in the space of 2 corners. Bumcrack and Daz have both got by in there, and they're now in the slipstream of Pruski in front. So Pruski's in a little bit more danger than he was prior. But Daz goes for a very firm move up the inside of Bumcrack there as well. So that's another position change there. So he's now in the slipstream of Pruski as well, although he's not taking advantage of it. He's got Bumcrack behind him. He's putting a defensive line down so that he can't get by. He's going to have to hang it around the outside for T1. Manages to make it stick. So a great couple of corners there from Daz.
Well, we were able to catch the Bumcrack Grassie's pass, but then we missed in the process of watching that one, the Daz 930 Bumcrack pass.
Oh man, well that's alright. The action's still yet to unfold. I think these guys are not going to stop butting heads for the remainder of the race, I imagine, especially if we see Grassies go for an undercut in the next couple of laps.
The Porsche just has the ability to brake late, turn in and get the drive. It just doesn't have the power up the hill from its long gears.
I think Grassies is going to get Bumcrack here. He might even have a look at Daz. No, but he slots in ahead of the Ragged Edge car there, in between the 2 Porsches.
We'll just see how Race Fan and Shinobi are going. They're out to 3.1 second gap to Shinobi now, so Race Fan pulling away. Shinobi.
So their positions are looking pretty set in stone at the moment, although depending on what Shinobi's strategy ends up being, because of course he did pit later than Race Fan, his tyres are considerably better, but I wouldn't say it's a meaningful enough advantage for him to pull this gap back in the near future. But anything could happen still. I think these guys have got a lot left to give, so keep your eye on them.
If I was Shinobi right now, I would think to myself, you're pitting around the 12.5 minutes, say 13 minutes to do your even stints. If you would have maybe stopped at the 16-minute mark, give yourself a lap 2 or 3 extra as he makes a mistake. So that's another second off the pace again.
Yeah, and that Alpha takes so long to get going as well that it's just going to hurt him more and more. It looks like Mr. Bumcrack's made a mistake there as well, because he's dropped off the back of Grassies. He no longer has the slipstream, so he's going to have to count on these guys in front of him having a bit of a battle, which they are. Daz and Grassies exchanging blows there as they head into the S's. But he's going to have a little bit of work cut out for him to catch up to these guys. We did see Pruski pulling away for a moment there. He was out to nearly 8/10, but they've pulled it back here, Daz and Grassies, as Daz looks to the outside of Pruski into the final corner. He's going to hang it out real wide, go for a big cutback here as well.
Grassies
Can't
gets
get
it.
the power down, and Grassies takes advantage. Wow, great stuff. And that's brought Bumcrack back into it as well. He's right on the back of them now once again.
We can just see in the background there, Gert Gurr's caught up to the bad doctor in the big Jaguar.
He has. So, looking at the tyre difference between the two of these guys, that Jag is in much better condition, so he must have gone for a late stop at some point. We do know, of course, that the Good Doc is on a controller this evening, so tyre wear is not going to be his friend, as we know. So, hopefully, he can hold off to the end of this stint and get himself a fresh set of boots, because it looks like he might just about have the pace over Gurr. He goes a bit wide on exit there, there's the Good Doc. Really feeling the pressure now, I think.
King Oscar in the second Viper, or first Viper I should say, in the grid order. For Team 53, he's having a nice quiet race in 10th, but he's slowly got the other Tyrone about to be on his bumper bar.
Gurr's got the better of Good Doc at the downhill right-hander. It's gone for a big move here, I think.
Don't know if we'll get it. The big right-hander, he's already done the pass, so well done to Gurr.
Well, I did have a look back at it, and it looks like the Good Doc made an error on the way in. He went a little bit deep under brakes, and that caused him to go a little bit wide, and Gurr was just clean up the inside, no problems whatsoever, as Good Doc comes into the pits now. So he's decided those tyres are no good, and I think it's about time, because they were really causing him problems there.
Filthy goes in as well, so the two blacklight cars in the same strategy. Where are we? We're looking.
King Oscar's in as well.
Back up at Grassy's and Mr. Bumcrack. It looks like that's bunched up again.
Oh yeah, they are all over each other once again. Grassy's done well to catch back up here. These guys are at it hammer and tong the entire race. You cannot separate them whatsoever. I think Bumcrack's going to go around the outside of Grassy's back here for P5 though. Let's have a look.
Well, Grassy's
not quite. Grassy's
just had a good exit out of turn 3 or turn 4, one of the two.
He must have, because Bumcrack had the advantage of Daz's slipstream down that straight as well. I thought he might get his nose in front, but no sign of that. Grassy's closes right up to Daz there as well. He's all over his rear bumper through these S's. This is where the Alpha's really strong, but he can't use any of that extra pace because he's got a big fat Porsche in the way of him. And speaking of big fat cars being in the way of cars, Pruski's right roadblocking Daz at the moment as they head up the straight. Grassy's looks to the outside. The two in front hug the inside through that particular corner, and they go back onto the straight line astern. Who's going to come into the pits? Pruski's in. Daz is not. Grassy's and Bumcrack both go for their second mandatory pit stop.
Oh,
we've lost Darkside as well. The bad doc has been removed from the race from, I think he was 12th or 13th if I'm not mistaken, but he was a wee way down the field, but that's very unfortunate and not something you want to see. Speaking of down the field, Dadson and Filthy are currently side by side, although Dadson's actually going in for his second pit stop here. So, and Filthy's already done his, so he is now on track P10, and he's behind the Good Doc as well in P9.
So this will be interesting where the Good Doc is, because Gurr got around him, and then the Good Doctor pitted. So it'll be interesting to see what difference the new tyres on the McLaren can do, and when the next pit stops unfold.
Yeah, so Gurr, I think he did a late pit stop for his early stop, which means that he can go exceptionally late into the race on this particular stint. Either that or Good Doc may have pitted a little bit early. But I think Good Doc might get him back here because he is on the fresher tyres, so he's got a good opportunity. Race fans in from the front. Shinobi is going to go in as well, so pitting the same time. 18 seconds between the two of them. I think actually Shinobi's had an error because Daz was only 3 seconds behind him there. I think Daz will be the one to watch on pit exit as well because he pitted a lap later than the guys around him the previous time around, so he'll bear watching. I think Pruski will be the first through from that group.
So race fans out. 18.
Shinobi's out in P2, so he managed to hold his position. But Pruski and Grassy's have got the better of Daz, as well as Bumcrack. But they're still in this group of 4 together. So I think Daz might actually be the one in the best position here, because he's of course got the freshest tyres, and he's still in touch with this group here. So that's quite an interesting one. Might have been a masterstroke there from him.
Well, I think Pru is going to see the likes of Sorry, going to see the likes of Shinobi in his window, and he's going to be starting to push a little bit harder to try and get that second on the podium for them extra points. Although he's got Grassies right down his. We're not going to say that before 8:30.
Right up his trumpet, I would say. Although another person to keep an eye on is the Good Doc. He's reappeared out of the pits in 7th once again, so his undercut has got him back past Gurr, but he's going to have 1 lap older tyres, so I think we might see Gurr come back before long. Filthy's there as well behind. Gurr already applying pressure actually back here.
So I've just had a bit of a message from the bag doctor. He's had to pull out. His leg has gone numb.
Oh no, so he was working with an injury, of course, yeah.
Which is all good. We don't expect anyone to do any more than they have to. But the Good Doctor now has Gurr right in his window. Filthy as backing him up as well.
Yeah, it looks like Gurr's got the better of Good Dog there because he was behind him just a little bit prior. So good job from Gurr, and I think that might be him done for the day. P7 might be the best he can get, barring mistake from the guys in front. I think the crucial one to watch here is Pruski and the guys behind him. They're all still together. They're joint at the hip for the entirety of this race, and I think if they can work together a little bit, they may be able to catch Shinobi in front. Because I think, well, their tyres might be a little bit older than Shinobi's, in fact, but they've got the Alpha, which is quick through the corners, which might be able to push the McLaren through. If they can pull a little bit of extra time there, they might be able to catch Shinobi and battle for P2 instead of P3.
Oh, the Alpha just pulling out all the stops to get around Pruski. It looks like he might have it done here.
Yeah, he's not interested in working together, as I was saying, so I think he's just going to go for the move instead.
He's hurting himself, though, because here comes the Porsche.
Yep, he's not in the best spot here. Bumcrack might be able to go around the outside, but he's got a big McLaren in front of him that might stop him from hanging it down there.
I think Filthy's just got around Good Doctor as well.
Oh wow, he has too. So Bumcrack goes through on Grassies there, and Daz stays in 4th. Looks like he might just be in preserve mode at the moment. But yeah, Filthy's got past the Good Dog.
Just stick with this one for a couple more seconds because we come down the bottom of the hill. The Porsche's really good under brakes. So's the Alpha. Oh, the Porsche goes to the inside.
Wow. Oh, wow. What's happened there? Looked like a corner cut just about to get past Pruski.
Let's see if we can catch it on a replay. I think he's just
Bumcrack's compromised himself as well. So while you were watching that replay, Daz got the better of Bumcrack there up the hill. Looks like Bumcrack's really compromised himself here after that dodgy exit, and he's well back from these two now. Daz goes for a move on Pruski as well. Wow, bit of contact through the final corner there as well. Daz gets it done. He's up into P3, into the podium positions.
Like Pruski's a little sideways on the entry to the last corner.
He caught a little bit of grass on the entry in the braking zone.
Porsche's starting to
Daz
come into
goes
life
very deep
in the last stint, the Porsches.
Yeah, they're doing well, and it's kind of all or nothing now. It's last stint, nothing to lose and everything to gain for these guys, so I'm sure they're going to pull out all the stops, but I can't pick it. The only person who stayed in the same position for an extended period of time out of these four is Pruski in P3, so it seems to be Pruski leading a trio of squabbling cars behind him, so he might be on track for a podium here, but he's got to be careful because these guys are going to give it everything.
Just see the difference in the mid-corner speed of the Porsche there. Definitely be able to close up on the McLaren.
And it hid there as well. The Alpha through the mid-corner is even faster than the Porsche, so amazing to think that a car can be that much faster than the McLaren and then there's another faster car yet again. So they're kind of in the wrong order here, these guys, to be honest, if they wanted to work together and catch the guys in front. 6.6 seconds now to Shinobi out there, but the correct order, if they wanted to work together, probably would have been the Alpha in 3rd place, as Bumcrack goes around the outside here of Pruski. But Pruski managed to hold on. This is a fantastic display of defensive driving from Pruski. He's absolutely doing a fantastic job of keeping these guys behind him. He's been under attack this entire time. But if that Alpha was in front, it would be very easy for... Oh, Daz goes deep into T1. Nearly goes off the track there, but he's going to manage to keep it together and stay with the group.
I tell you what,
I can't get this one sentence out. I keep getting interrupted by all this action.
they're definitely pushing hard.
Absolutely, they're giving it everything, and I don't think working together is on anyone's mind right now. So Shinobi's absolutely skipped away here, and that's going to be race over for them as far as P2 is concerned.
I'll just jump up the front because we haven't shown much airtime of Race Fan because he's been 19 seconds ahead of Shinobi at the moment.
It's been totally dominant from Race Fan, I think. After that first stint, Shinobi made a bit of an error on his strategy. It was all over. Race Fan just skipped away, and I think a couple of mistakes from Shinobi have allowed him to get himself nearly 20 seconds ahead.
As I see the bomb crack's got around Pruski.
Oh yeah, it might have been a mistake there as well because he's a long way back as Pruski, and he's having to defend from Grassies now as well. He's going to try it around the outside. Oh, that's a fantastic move there from Grassies. That's unbelievable. He's flown right around the outside of the McLaren there. Fantastic effort.
And on the
I
grass
think
too.
Pruski's going to have another go here. Yeah, he did put 2 wheels on the grass. He's going to have another go here into T1. Grassies can do just about nothing to stop it. An excellent block pass there from Pruski. Puts it right where Grassies wants to go, and he can't go anywhere.
Daz just puts the nose in, unsettles the rear of Grassie's car as well. Looks as though Gurr down in 7th. He's starting to slow off a bit because he's got Filthy. Maybe just catching up a little bit. The gap hasn't really changed between these guys very much. Filthy's gap to Gurr has been very constant for the last couple of laps. But I think the one to watch out for is Stickers, who's really caught up to these guys. He's currently sitting P10. He's got better tyres than the bad doc in front of him, and Filthy as well. So he's currently in the best position to take advantage here as he looks for the outside of Good Doc. Might go for a move into the S's. Thinks better of it. Could be the comeback of the century for Stickers here. Well, you start to get a little bit infuriated with the cars in front when you can't get around them, and if you go for that move that you might not pull off, it can put you in the steward's room, that's for sure.
Most definitely. We're seeing a bit more battling from the guys up in 4th, 5th and 6th here as well. Bumcrack skipped away because he managed to get away from the trouble that was being caused between Grassies and Pruski behind him. And the battling there has actually dropped Pruski and Daz behind Grassies by a significant margin as well. Pruski and Daz still side by side through T1 there after going side by side through the final corner last lap, and Daz finally gets the position. So Pruski, who was leading this group for so very long, finds himself at the very back of it now.
Now, if we see him pull away from Pruski, he might have been holding him up a little bit the entire time, because it seems they've skipped away pretty quick.
Yeah, I think he may have been, and his tyres are considerably worse than all of the guys in front of him. So he's out of this race now, I think. He's done everything he can to hold those positions, but his car's fallen away from him. And with probably 3 laps to go, or 2 laps to go following this one, I don't think he's going to be able to pull this back.
I think we have had issues in the past of some of the tyre wear rates just being a little bit uneven sometimes from lobby to lobby. Whether that's the case or not for this time round is a different story, but I mean they're all pitting at the same time, so you wouldn't think one car could be wearing tyres totally different to the others on their 3rd stint of the race.
Well, don't forget that Pruski did pit a lap prior to Daz in front of him, so there is going to be a little bit of an advantage there, and I think the McLaren is considerably harsher on its tyres than the Porsche in front. You can see from Filthy and the Good Doc's tyres back in 8th and 10th. They're struggling for tyre wear as well.
Especially when it comes to the end of the stint, yeah.
Stickers is one to keep an eye on here as well. He's got the better of the Good Doc, and he's going for an attack on Filthy as well. It looks like he's got plenty of pace over them. Both of those McLarens are really struggling on their tyres now, so Stickers is in a really good spot here if he can get around them. Looks to the outside of Filthy there as they come through turn 5. Can't quite get it done, but he lives to fight another day, and I think he might actually get it done at some point soon.
So Stickers has done really well, because wasn't it Stickers that come around and crashed into the wall when he was behind Good Dog the last time? So he's come back, caught back up.
That's right, yeah.
And got around him again.
He has, yeah, and he did just for a moment there get past Filthy, but I think it was just premature through that particular corner. But he's absolutely hounding Filthy through here. The other battle on track is Grassy's versus Bumcrack for P3. Grassy's is caught back up to the Ragged Edge driver here, and with it's going to be 1 lap to go for these guys. They're going to cross the line with just over 1:15 remaining, so only time for 1 more lap. Grassy's might be able to sneak a podium here in the Alpha. Can both the Alphas get on the podium here?
One thing Mr. Bumcrack's good at is not buckling under pressure, so hopefully these two can have a good race to the finish line and not wreck one another's, because that can happen.
Well, I'm sure Grassy's is going to absolutely throw the kitchen sink at Bumcrack, as he's been doing all race against Pruski and the others. So he's going to give it everything here. He's got the toe down the back straight here towards the right-hander. Is he going to stick his nose in it? Not quite. Oh, he does. He goes for a late lunge up the inside. Both cars are sideways through the right-hander. Who can get the power down first? It looks like Grassy's going to have the inside uphill, but he's going to be on the outside as they enter the S's.
This is where the Alpha struggles. It had probably the advantage out of the exit, but it just can't make the power up the hill.
It was absolutely crucial that he gets by before those S's, but I don't think he's going to make it happen. He's still right on the rear bumper of Bumcrack, but he gives him a little bump up the hill, and that might just be enough to keep Bumcrack far enough ahead. Bumcrack pulls to the inside. He's going to go defensive into the last corner. You absolutely know it. Grassy's looks for a late move around the outside. He's going to go for a cutback. No, he's going to try hold it there. He gets on the power. He puts it out nearly to the grass, but he's not quite alongside Bumcrack, and I don't think he's going to have it here. They go to the line. They're going to be the first two on track to finish. They cross the line 3rd and 4th here. Daz in 5th as well. Pruski manages to hold on from Gurr, who pulled back 3 seconds over the late stage of the race there to finish P7. Not quite able to take P6. Stickers gets the better of the other Tyrone, the Good Dog and Filthy to finish 8th.
Oh, what's happened there?
Filthy's actually fallen back to 11th there.
I see.
So I don't know what happened there.
And the other Tyrone was able to get around as well.
The other Tyrone was catching Stickers at one point as well. Dadson comes home in P13, but if we look back up the front, Race Fan, he's about to come through the final corner to take victory here at Maggiore East Circuit. A fantastic drive from the Ferrari driver. Another win for the Ferrari. It's an awesome drive.
Led it from start to finish as well.
He was untouchable. That's another clean sweep as well. Pole, fastest lap, and first place. Shinobi as well. A fantastic drive. Even though he was 21 seconds behind Race Fan, he's really showing that he's a class above a lot of these guys in here. 9 seconds ahead of Bumcrack as Bumcrack crossed the line back there, so he really pulled a great drive out of that one.
Big drive from Race Fan and Shinobi to be that far in front.
Yep.
Mr. Bumcrack, nice spot there for 3rd to hold off all that carnage that was going on, and not carnage, I should say, some decent driving. Not one of them went off track, I suppose, and all that. So it's a really good racecraft. But just to come out on top at the end of that, after battling for it for 40 minutes, it's well done as well. And to Grassy's, I think the Pruski is probably going to be the one that's not so happy out of all that, because he led for most of the race to come out behind.
Yeah, he really worked the car as much as he could to hold that position, but it really chewed through his tyres, and I think that was what cost him in the end. But Bumcrack just with a great effort to put his car where he needed to put it, get out of trouble where he needed to, and managed to hold off the charge of Grassy's at the end with the tyre advantage. So great job from him. But that battle between Bumcrack, Grassy's, Daz and Pruski for pretty much the entire race until the very end, it was the battle of the century. They were inseparable the whole time, and 3 different cars out of the 4 of them. You know, it just shows how close it can be between these guys.
So what we'll do is we will recap the race results. Now, this is also to help the stewards. Because we need all these finishing positions on record. But we have in first position Race Fan for Bez Media in the Ferrari. Definitely just let him know that he's not going to be staying in this group next season. He's going to be moving up.
He's untouchable.
Shinobi in second. Bumcrack comes home in third. Grassy's in fourth. Daz in fifth. Pruski in sixth spot. Gurr 17 comes home in seventh. Eighth is Stickers. The other Tyrone for ninth. The Good Doctor for 10th. Filthy for 11th. King Oscar brings home 12th. And that is us, as the Bad Doctor had pulled out of the race. Fastest lap for Race Fan on lap 2 with a 1:22.5. So a pretty fast race lap as well.
Yeah, only about a tenth off his qualifying time, so he's really putting it all on the line there, I think.
So what we're starting to see is a bit of a familiar car, brand of car up the front every round. Hopefully, Allsace will bring out another one.
Yeah, I think based on the testing pre-season, it should be pretty even at Alsace, but because it's yet another track with very few long straights, so the 4C should still be pretty competitive. How does everybody feel about the driver of the day? I think there's a couple of good candidates here. Race Fan, obviously, with a dominant performance. Shinobi there as well. Couldn't quite make his strategy work, but managed to hold on to a convincing second. Bumcrack to come out best out of the four that were in that battle for so long. That's probably driver of the day worthy as well. Grasses as well. He had an awesome job there. He was really throwing the car into the corners to assert his dominance over the guys around him. That 4C was really showing how good its brakes were a lot of the time around there. And the rest of the guys as well. I think Stickers had a great drive back through the field too. We saw him go off early on into the wall with a penalty as well. So to claw back to 8th place, I think is a great effort from him as well.
Yeah, I'd have to probably go. It's kind of hard. There's a few good ones tonight, but
hard to pick a number one. I'm going to say Stickers myself. I think to claw back to 8th place is a great job.
Yeah, definitely after spinning around, I'll go Stickers as well. The other close ones would be that whole bunch from 3rd through to 6th. They just raced the entire race, didn't throw anyone off track.
Yeah, it was fantastic to see all of them. They were putting it all on the line as well. There was a little bit of rubbing here and there, and nothing too serious. In fact, when Daz went a little bit beyond the mark, he actually redressed. So really fair driving from all of them involved, I think. We've got 3 in chat for the plumber as well. So a lot of guys saying to come out of top of that battle of the 4. I think that's quite impressive as well. So not a bad shout at all.
Yeah, I think the plumber's on the winning streak here.
He's doing well. 3rd's a great result as well.
Well, we don't have much on this week as opposed to community, but we do have next Sunday, round 5, which will see us go to Allsace Village. Definitely a different track to what we're used to. Street circuit.
Yep.
It's
only rally drivers, I would say, are qualified to race on that track. If it was a real life track, it's very treacherous and hard to keep your car in control. So it'll be a good challenge for our drivers.
Yeah, it's got undulations over the top of hills. You got to come down through S's, and there's long sweeping corners. It's got a bit of everything mixed into the one track. I think it'll be pretty exciting to watch the Group A boys just get around there at the speed they're going to get around there.
Yeah, it's going to be a big weekend, I think. So you guys can look forward to that. And I'm sure a lot of you will be hanging out for a bit more racing content tonight. The F1's back, of course. So another race this weekend for us all to check out. And then we'll be back to Sector 1 next weekend.
Well, like to thank all the viewers for joining in tonight. All the people in chat, you've been keeping us busy. Thanks to Jimmy for doing his double stint on the race duty and the RD and commentating. Also, yourself there, Adam, for jumping in the Group A box and doing the race directing for us and jumping into chat.
Thanks, mate. It was good to be here.
And I think that's about we're gonna close this up pretty quick tonight because I'm pretty keen to go to bed. But
oh, mate, it's barely gone 9 o'clock. What are you doing?
I know I'm getting old and my old age. That doesn't make even sense, does it?
No. Oh yeah, go to sleep and dream about that new rig you're getting.
Yeah, but yeah, thanks to everyone for joining in tonight's races. We will all see you next Sunday for round 5 at All Stays Village. See you then.